lunchtime, and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from Studio A in the heart of Delray Gallery, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, a movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free at 888-565-1470 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. You see, you did that very nicely.
Nice job, Lisa.
Welcome to all our friends out there. You are not going to see us cleanly today. We are having Comcast issues. Welcome to South Florida.
Welcome to rainy season in South Florida.
Yeah, rainy season. People act like when it rains, the whole world comes to an end.
Well, pretty much.
What
When
are
it
we
rains
on potato
and
chips?
when
Soggy and milk? Cornflakes? Captain Crunch? What are we?
pretty much soggy cornflakes.
It is the worst. But boy, do I got some Father's Day stories for you.
Soggy cornflakes.
How was your Father's Day?
Soggy cornflakes. No, it was fine. My Father's Day was lovely. It was easy. I had Publix, made some wraps. I picked them up in the rain, put them out as everyone was at the house.
And
took the
Dawn
lid
is
off.
cooking again.
I
That's
took the salad
Dawn's
lid off.
cooking.
I bought a chocolate chip cookie cake. Took it out of the box.
So did we.
And there you have it.
We
and
had
that was
chocolate
Father's
chip
Day.
cookie. What is it? They had a sale on these things?
I gotta tell you, they are so freaking good.
No, they're not that good.
They
Yeah?
are.
You like it? I didn't like it too much.
Oh, I've been eating them.
like
But you know what happens is you try and even it out. So you cut it and the line's not straight. So you cut a little more and then you go a little more frosting. And next thing you know, you've eaten half of the cookie cake, right? And there's like one little piece left. And you go, I didn't do it. I only had 10 people and the entire thing is gone. But that was Father's Day. How was your Father's Day? Happy Father's Day, Papa.
Happy Father's Day. I went to Barraro's.
Barraro's.
Barraro.
So are they related to your in-laws by chance?
You're going to blow the bid. Yes, it is his restaurant.
There
It is
you have
Giovanni's in-laws. It's not. It's the same last name, right?
That's not a common last name, though.
I've never heard it before. Dad and Gambino, I've never heard him before.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we go to the restaurant, and my son orders a orange pineapple shirt, which I'm sure the whole universe has seen by now.
Yes, they're hilarious.
So I go in there, and I'm totally humiliated. And I go to this beautiful restaurant, and I got pictures and everything else to share. We'll put it in post-production. And I go in there, and I says, yes, party of six. I'm very low. You know me. I'm very
You're
low.
low-key in that shirt?
Yes.
And your hat?
The shirt was talking volumes.
Yeah, I know.
So the lady says, okay, let's go upstairs to they're not here yet. I said, they're not here yet. It was after 6:30, but it was really raining hard. So I go upstairs, and we sit down, and my son must be downstairs with baby Joey. They got the same shirts on.
So they sat you upstairs, and Gio and Joey were downstairs?
So they go over to Gio and says, sir, not for nothing, but there's a gentleman that has the exact same shirt as you. I just want you to be well aware. And Gio goes, yeah, that's my dad. And then he takes out the baby. Now, the baby is big. He's a big 2 month, 10 weeks. Yeah, he's
He
big.
weighs, what, 13 pounds?
He weighs 170 pounds. Who knows?
He's 10
But
weeks old. He weighs 13 pounds.
He reminds me of, you ever
healthy
seen
boy.
when you have a ventriloquist, blah, blah, blah.
Ventriloquist.
And you have a puppet,
You put your hand in
and
his
you put
back
a hand
and
in
it
your
goes like
puppet.
this?
All three of those, yes. So he comes in with this big boy, right? And he looks like a puppet. Because this kid's eyes are wide open. He's looking around. He's making noises. He's moving and grooving. He's not your typical 10-week-old baby.
Nope.
This kid wants to drive the car.
There you have it.
And he's screaming and ranting and raving and dancing in his shirt. Everybody comes over. Because now the three of us, like 3 idiots, are wearing these orange pineapple shirts.
I can't believe you did it. It's such a Gio thing. And now poor Joey's going to have to live with Gio in matching outfits. But I'm amazed you did it. I was thrilled to see you do it. It was the best 3-generation picture I think I've ever seen.
I have never in my life done that in my life. But now it gets better because Freddie and baby Rowan, who yesterday, Happy Father's Day, began to walk.
And there you have it, Pop-Up. What's it
All
like
of
to
us
be
are
a
gonna have the
grandfather?
same shirt.
So you know what my daughter said? She says, Freddie's a young grandpa.
Yeah, I love your daughter.
That's what she said. She said, Freddie's a young grandpa. He's got 2 grandchildren
I love your daughter.
at your ripe young age.
I wish I was. But anyway, it was a whole lot of fun. And again, happy Father's Day to everybody, because I don't think I even said that on Friday.
No, I did.
Did you? I figure it's the woman's doing it. But anyway, this
cool.
restaurant
That's
is
how you do
brand
it.
new and is in 27 Fletcher Avenue in Sarasota. And we went to Sarasota Beach.
How far is that
It
from
takes,
Tampa?
I don't know. I
How
didn't
long
go
did
to
it take
Tampa.
you to get there? Where did you live?
It took me 3 hours and 1 minute to go from here.
1 minute.
I try to break the record. I try to keep it under 3 hours. I was going 97 miles an hour,
Nice.
except the rain got in my way. But anyway, you go there and you say, you've seen this on the Brooklyn Cafe, and the phone number is 941-552-9131. And they are located in multiple places. Can you read that?
Bavaro's, yes. Sarasota, St. Pete, Tampa Downtown, and Tampa International Airport.
That's right. He's everywhere. He's franchising.
That's what happens when you've got a young co-host. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You wish. She has thick bottle glasses. She just doesn't wear them. But anyway, that was my bit for Father's Day.
Well, all I can say is happy Monday. You know what this week is? We do not have internet. We're just recording,
taping.
and we're going to tape it and go. All right. We'll go between 1 and 3. Comcast. From Dan's mouth to your ears, as they say.
As they say.
This is our big week, Freddie. Big anniversary week. Happy
Yes.
Monday to you. Happy 3-year anniversary to the Brooklyn Cafe Show.
And what a
3
start
years,
we got.
you have been partners
We
with
got
me.
no juice.
That's all I can
What a
say.
start. I wanted to celebrate today because it was the beginning of the anniversary week.
You
and I
look a
wanted
little
to have-
tired.
I'm not tired. I'm a little upset
Yeah, I know, Monday.
because Comcast really, really does it to me. That's why we got to have our own streaming backbone.
Well, we talked about that.
We have, and we're
And
going
now-
to do it.
And now we must do it.
And now we must do it.
Gen G?
It is a must.
Gen G, we need a workaround, and we're going to talk to Chris from Tuesday's Hemp Boca. We're going to talk to him as well. We've got 2 people with IT backgrounds.
Yeah, but it
We
isn't.
need to embrace them.
It's not about the IT.
I know,
It
it's
is
not. It's about the router.
It isn't even about that. What feeds a router?
Excuse me?
What feeds a router? Have you ever noticed? I asked my son the other day.
What feeds a router?
Yes, when you buy a house, right, and Comcast comes in and they do the box and all that. What does that box plug into?
The wall.
No, the wall. Look at this. You're a mad scientist. Think about it. The electrical, the Ethernet is in the street, right?
Yes, and when the street gets wet and soggy.
Well, hold on. Let's not go there. Let's just say if you want electricity, you go to the street and you pull a wire.
Okay,
If you want Ethernet, you go to the street, you pull a wire.
okay,
If you want gas, you pull a pipe.
okay.
Okay, the Ethernet works the same way. So
Okay.
I said to my son, why can't I just go to the street and pull a wire? He said, number one, that's highly illegal. Number two, those routers reduce the power because they got to travel millions of miles, so it's like really, really strong. So what you're talking about is we go into the backbone and open up our own Ethernet service.
Yes. I'm sure that's illegal as well. They must really be worried about us because we got Dan and Michelle in the same minute coming
know.
in. They must be worried that we're going to say something. I don't
Michelle,
even
we
know if
have
my mic
no-
is on.
What?
I don't even know if my mic is on.
Is this mic on?
You hear me? Okay, good. Echo, echo, echo. Happy Monday to you, Michelle.
Happy Monday to you.
Happy Father's Day, honey. Day after. You know, because I said to Jean on Friday, Happy Father's Day, and she said, you know what? It kind of is. I raised my kids. I was mother and father. So, you know what? That's something we didn't even talk about.
That's true. That is actually a very good point.
See that?
Considering my kids don't have a father.
So you're kind of mom, dad, and grandma, which is kind of freaky when I say that too as
So
well.
you're a grandmother,
Can you
you're a
believe that?
mother, you're a father, you're a grandfather. You're like a jack of all trade, emperor of all.
Hey, you know what? That's a good thing.
It's all a good thing.
I'll take the grandmother any day of the week.
I don't like that.
You know what? You get to play with them. You get to juice them up whatever they
I don't like it.
Juice them up and send them home.
Nah, I don't like it. They gave me these cards about this long about grandpas and among the sea of grandfathers and penguins and all sorts of strange things.
I love it.
Do you?
I think that's fantastic. I'm glad I'm not one yet. Is all I can tell
I
you.
am not.
Because none of my kids are married.
You get to play.
Neither of my children are married, so I'm going to hold off on that grandma nana thing for a little while. I hope, Aaron.
There's a
Just
whole
saying.
side to grandparenting that you have to get accustomed to. You ever notice, especially on the woman's side, the daughters, the grandparents on the daughter's side, they want to hold that kid and never let them go. They will fight. They will hockey. You ever play hockey and they hit you with the elbow? You know, you gotta sort of stand back because I'm not gonna compete with all that. I mean, they smother Owen. They smother Joey.
Cannot compete. He
You
is
can't.
cute, Joey. 13 pounds at 10 weeks. Holy smokes.
Yes, it's very cute.
It's a big kid.
And I held him and he pooped on me.
We've
He
got-
sure poop a lot.
Well, you know, that's
No, you don't understand. This kid fills up a pamper. This kid goes sideways. I mean, it is huge what he does.
Try a different type of pamper.
Yeah, they're gonna go to super absorbent for elephants.
Well, anyway, you're going to find our show eventually, and Comcast should be here between 1 and 3. Friday, save the date, mark your calendars, come on out, and I hope, Blanca, you can join us.
Love to.
We will be live at Crazy Uncle Mike's in Boca Raton. We will be on the east side of Federal Highway, just north of Yamato. It is an open party to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. I think Michelle is coming. I know Jay Harmon is coming. I don't know who else is coming.
Michelle,
but
there's like 60
I have not
people.
heard many no's, is all I can tell you. I think we're up to 60.
where are you going?
Crazy Uncle Mike's.
That's right, yes.
Crazy Uncle
You're
Mike's.
going, but you don't know where you're going. You really are some grandma, I tell you.
Listen, I support my people.
She supports her peeps. And I just want you to know, for you, my mother has changed her Mahjong game. So she has canceled her Mahjong game on Friday. She got a substitute so she can see my Freddie.
What the hell is a mahjong?
Wow.
It's
she
a
must
it's
love
a
it.
Mahjong.
What
It's
is
a
it?
game.
It's a game. It's like a tile game.
It's a tile game and
Until I got plenty of tiles. What kind of tiles she wants? She wants
Mahjong
ceramic. She
tile.
wants...
You tell her on Friday.
I got all
Because
sorts of
she
tiles.
has now changed her Mahjong game to come see my Freddie.
Really?
That's what she calls you. She calls him
blowing me
my
up here.
Freddie.
Yeah.
I know, she loves you.
Yeah,
She
she's
says
the best.
her
we
other
watch
son.
we watch Roku on the we watch Amazon Fire on the
She's
weekend.
a little upset. She said she can't watch our show anymore, Busybody. She needs a new show to watch.
I just loaded 5 shows. 5
She
shows
said,
are
if
on
I
the way
see you
today.
in that gym one more time, I want to go, Mom, then stop watching that episode,
5
is what I want to tell her.
5 shows are being loaded up as we speak.
So she'll be very happy because she just wants to turn us on every day and watch us live on Amazon Fire. Coming soon, Mom. So come on out, join us at Crazy Uncle Mike's Friday. Come early because we are going to be there early. We're going to be there from 10 on, but come by 11, do some networking, have some fun. Cake provided by J&D Cakes. They are the winners of Cake War 4 years ago.
Yes.
I don't
We have
know
New
what
York
the cake
Sound
is
is
going to
coming
look like.
to do sound mixing,
Okay.
so we're gonna have some tunes in the house.
Party time in the house. 3 years. Can you believe it?
Feels like 30.
Feels like 30 centuries. Anyway, I have to say,
And I think you're wrong. I don't think it's. I think it's 4 years. You missed a
I
year
missed a
somewhere.
number
along.
somewhere?
Yeah, somewhere. There's a
I don't
missing
think
year.
so. I didn't.
It's her birthday.
It just feels like longer. Because we had partners in the beginning.
Don't be throwing weapons.
Okay, so
It's really 3 years just you and I together. We had partners before that. You had a partner, I had a partner. That made it a little bit longer.
I'm not talking about that. I've been doing this for 18 years. That makes no difference. I'm talking about this particular
But you know
show.
what is even more impressive about what you did?
What the
You
hell
had
did
us
I
a
do?
guest on a Monday morning, a half hour before a show.
That wasn't me. I wish I could take all the credit.
And here she walks in. Blanca walks into our craziness at 11:30, and I'm thinking the phone's ringing. There's no internet. Comcast is down. We're rewiring things. She says, "I'm here for the show," and we just looked at her and went, "Holy smokes, we are
I
not
didn't
in our
even get,
glory
Blanca, I
right
didn't even
now."
get to tell her because Bev hooked us up this morning. She says that you're doing the rounds or something you're going to be doing. Would you want to come
Yeah,
by?
you did not even tell me. You told me someone was
No.
coming that owned a
She
yoga
didn't tell
studio.
you I was famous?
No.
Okay.
What
She
happened
told me
to the
that
yoga
I would be happily surprised when you
What
get
happened to
here.
the yoga
Aw.
studio lady?
Thank you, Beverly.
That's
This is
somebody-
her.
Do you own a yoga studio?
No.
I
no,
didn't
no.
think so. That's why I'm thinking who you told me was coming
one
is
of my
not the woman
skills.
sitting
But
next
this
to
is
me.
it. Where's she
She's an
from?
attorney,
Where'd she come from?
and she has a show called Laws of Life.
Yes.
Who introduced her?
I don't know how she
How'd you
ended up
get
here.
here?
Beverly
Kennedy.
D'Amico.
Okay, so
Beverly
same
D'Amico.
Bev, just a different person.
So Bev actually sent one person to one cancel and sent the other one.
Do you work with doTERRA Oils?
I don't.
Okay.
So you're
So we
you're.
really don't know
I
who
don't
it
even.
is.
I'm sorry.
I'm a
how are
mystery
you?
guest. I don't
I'm
even
sorry,
go.
who are
Am
you?
I in the wrong studio?
Wow.
So much for that dossier I got.
I had no idea. She told me somebody was coming with a studio that does oils and other
She
stuff.
wanted to surprise you. She
And she
wanted to bring you a
did.
life philosopher, somebody different.
So tell me, who, first of all, what is your name?
Blanca Greenstein.
She has
Yes.
she has 2 colors in her name. She got Blanca and green.
There you
heard
go.
this?
There you go.
Have you
I got
ever?
a lot of
You
dimensions
are-
to my name, right?
That is unreal.
Well, I was-
Blanca is wife is Spanish,
That's right.
and Greenstein, green is green for green.
I was born Irene.
Of course you. Purple.
I'm a nice Jewish girl from Pittsburgh. But basically what happened was my middle name was Blanca, which I was named in honor of my aunt that unfortunately died in the Holocaust. And
Okay.
but my parents thought that Blanca was too foreign a name and I wouldn't be accepted. So they named me Irene Blanca. So here's the bottom line. When I got to college, I changed my name to Blanca, and that was the best thing I ever did.
So now your middle name is your real name, is your name.
And then you
That's
married a
right.
Greenstein.
There you go.
So you went from white to green and everything purple in between.
There
Nice
you go.
Jewish girl who does not own a yoga studio, nor does she sell doTERRA oils.
Mm.
However, she is a host of her own Facebook show, Freddie, called The Laws of Life, and
Of
she
course
is
she
a
is.
huge women empowerment coach.
Yes,
Holy
ma'am.
smoke. Hey,
So welcome, Blanca. I'm
Thank
fascinated because clearly we did not even know you were coming, but you know what? That's how we roll, which is really great. Tell us about what you do. You have the Laws of Life coaching, the visions of Laws of Life, and I have to say, in our chaos today, Blanca sat here quite lovely. She walked around. She didn't think, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. You may have thought it, but she didn't
Not at
say
all.
it. She just walked in grace
they
and
lower
said,
the
you know what, positive vibes. And Lisa brought her positive vibes, and Lisa's laughing. I don't even know Lisa's last name. A blanket, you're right.
Blanca, Blanket, Blunky.
I'm Jewish too.
And Lisa, what is
Mazel tov.
what
And
is
me too. There you go, Freddie. You got 3 Jewish
take a
girls
bath.
on the set. You can
Lisa?
go to
What
the
is
mikvah.
your email? You're Lisa Blanket.
Her email is
My email is blanketlisa@gmail.
Blanket Lisa.
Blanket Lisa. I was trying to figure that out. Who the hell you were? But okay, now I know.
And there you have it. Her last name is Blanket.
Okay, so now I am thoroughly confused. So you have a show,
Yes.
and you're an attorney.
I am an attorney. I've been practicing for 24 years, but I really learned. I started doing the Laws of Life about we're now in our 3rd year. And broadcasting has just really become a passion of mine. I just really enjoy connecting with
do
people
I
and
gotta-
interviewing them.
Do I got a gig for you?
Tell me.
So let me get this, because you're an attorney. What kind of attorney are you?
I'm of counsel to a couple of different law firms. We do business law, litigation, contract law. Basically, my practice is business development and marketing for law firms. So now I currently represent a number of different law firms. And depending on who needs a lawyer, I can direct them to the right attorney for their budget and get them really a high level of customer service and, work with their schedule, meet them. Like this morning, I met a potential client in Wellington because she didn't want to go to, it was raining. So I try to make it convenient for people and make them comfortable with their legal issue and put them with the right attorney.
Whew. Okay, so you network your network with attorneys and other
Yes.
businesses, I'm assuming, right?
That's a whole other side of what she does. The legal side is not really what you're focusing on right now.
That's right. I mean, it's a
Sort of
component.
Move that away from it, and she's
No,
really
I know
working
that, but I
on
want to
all of
find
this.
out what the backbone of what she does, because
Sure.
she doesn't come across as a regular litigator. She has
Definitely
a different
not.
she has a different aura going on here. So I'm trying to understand how one thing
Well,
matches
this-
with the other.
It's a great, well, what happened is, I've been practicing for 24 years and representing different law firms, including my own law firm. But then I started my show, The Laws of Life, started interviewing people, shining a light on charities, nonprofits, and community heroes. And then I realized I love this. I love having my own show and meeting people. I love hosting events. So I do a lot of networking events. I teach a lot about networking, and I also have an outsourced sales company where I teach different people how to do sales, and then we represent different companies and help them implement their sales so they can focus on the work.
Okay, which is the bottom line to everybody. Okay, so tell me now about the show.
Sure. Well, the show is basically, we have one show a week. We shine a light on charities, nonprofits, and community heroes. Then we also have the lawsoflife.shop, which is an e-commerce store. So there's a number of different products, including tickets to our next mastermind on that. And we basically give a percentage of those profits to whatever charity is on the show for the week. 15% of our proceeds of our product go to the charity. So I'm trying to infuse an element of giving into the show's production too.
Okay, and
How-
where
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
How did your show start?
It started off with actually Dean Piper. He has a station in Wellington, Florida, and he invited me to do a show for
How do we
him.
know that name?
I know.
Hype
Dean?
Man Radio. He's on iHeartRadio, and
Is that
his.
how we know it? Okay.
So yeah, Dean was nice enough to let me have his studio and give me that opportunity. So the first year we did the show, we did it in Wellington out of his studio, and he had a very professional operation like you guys. And it's just been a really amazing journey.
Okay, so you have the show, it's cooking. You're putting it on social media platforms?
Yes.
Do you take it remotely to meet and greet when you do your thing, or is it all in studio work?
I've done it in multiple venues. Sometimes, like one charity, the Cole Preston Foundation, she has a garden, Deborah Balinson. So I went to her garden that she did in honor of her son that unfortunately died in a car accident, right in his college education. So I went to the garden, and I found that the interview was much more impactful being in the garden and watching her, give us a tour of the garden. So if it's going to make the interview more powerful and connect to the audience, I don't mind going to where someone's business is or their charity is.
But
Well,
here's where we
that's where
come
we
into
go.
play. She would like to take her show to the next level. So we briefly talked about our Empowerment Thursdays we do at WNN and the radio and everything that we do when we're not here and when we're here.
And also, we take the show on the road. We do remotes.
Love it.
We want to have people. You see, it's great when you go on the radio and you're talking, but you can't see them. So you really don't know who's listening, who's really plan to action, who's doing something with it. And a lot of people listen on the radio, they love it, then they go to work and they're having one of those days.
Like today?
So
That's right.
when you have people come to your show, there's a pop-up tent that we do where you sit with them.
Okay.
And you talk to these people and you tell them, listen, this is what I do. Do you want to join the party? I mean, Fem City has blown up with this thing. Everybody that goes on the road with us for one way or another has fun with it because they're actually talking to human beings and you're going flesh to flesh. So I can see that what you're doing is a lot about how we've been doing this. Just getting it out there and having the production and having people come. It's interesting. We did the hair salon, right? We did the shampoo takeover. Remember the movie Shampoo?
Of course.
He says that every day.
Do you sing too?
Does Freddie sing?
Do you remember the actor in Shampoo? Warren
Don't test me too much.
Baby.
Warren Beatty.
Okay, sure. Love Warren. We
And
go
they
way
made
back.
him big and huge and everybody. So we did a segment at a hair salon to see if we can match up this stuff
Wow.
and see what happens. And we did a show
Fun.
for the owner and she had a lot of fun with it. She was in Jersey watching. She wasn't even here. But those are the things. We have The Verdict tonight,
Nice.
Brand new show starting tonight, The Verdict, from 6 to 7 p.m. on WNN.
which is a whole different level of law.
It's taking those legal cases that have been filed and really getting deep and dirty is what I think they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Other
That
attorneys
sounds
coming on, and
fun.
we have a great lineup of hosts that we get to work with at WNN. Here's my question though: tell me how this shopping platform, because you have all of this. Explain that side of the business. You help people go work with other e-commerce or different.
Oh, no. The lawsoflife.shop is basically an e-commerce website. So people that follow the show, The Laws of Life, can go to lawsoflife.shop and they can purchase items which I try to put in the theme of inspiration, motivation, and empowerment. So, necklaces, things that you can give to your friends, things that's going to inspire. So gifts that inspire is the theme of the store. And then the proceeds of the store go to the charity of the week. The store is brand new. I literally just launched that.
But that's different than the other business that you have cooking.
Completely separate.
She's got a lot of things going. I'm having a hard time finding
I'm
half
trying
all this bouncing
to
ball.
follow the bouncing
Sure.
ball.
So we
There's a lot
got
of
we
cooking.
got the Laws of Life production, right?
Right.
Just interviewing different business and charities every week. I've got the e-commerce store where you can go to learn about the upcoming mastermind and see products for sale. And then I also have an outsourced sales company, which I provide sales representatives for different businesses throughout the country
That's
to help them sell. And because the key to sales is to make the customer feel welcome, to make them feel like you really know and you're really taking the time to help
Who
them.
does the training for the sales
I
part?
do.
So you train them even if they're in California or whatever?
Yes.
And this is for the company's product or a philosophy?
For their product. It's like one of the types of clients we represent are digital marketing agencies, people that run their own marketing firms, and they are running Facebook advertising campaigns, and they're getting a lot of leads, but they don't have time to talk to their leads, to take the time
No closing.
to sell them digital marketing, SEO. Really, we can sell anything as long as the company gives us the training and gives us the sales scripts necessary to speak with the client so that we can properly consult with the client and make sure it's the right product for them.
How did you get involved with? I'm trying to figure out how she got from attorney to broadcaster to foundations to the Salesforce.
Well, I'll tell you, the Salesforce, here's what I learned. I learned everything from the practice of law I've enjoyed, but I really enjoy business and entrepreneurialism. And I just think you open up your network of people so much more. And I can relate to so many more businesses because of the Salesforce. And I'm able to help so many more people by giving them the Salesforce. And because so many people don't have time to do their own sales. Younger businesses, smaller companies, they can't afford to go out and hire 4 or 5 sales representatives to help sell. So our company helps solve that problem.
So could you train our producers or interns to sell airtime?
100%.
Hector,
And-
you in?
The key, yeah,
Look
it
at
all
him.
boils
He
down.
looks like he's in.
I think so.
Hector, you ready? Learn how to sell some airtime?
Everything is training, teaching your sales reps how to talk to people and make them feel welcome and that they're really being listened to. Because when somebody calls me and they sound like they're in a, they're just totally disconnected, they sound like robots, I'm not going to buy anything from those people.
Correct.
Well, the other problem that we face is that people that have businesses, they know the business. And Michael Jordan's a great example, greatest basketball player in the history of mankind.
Yep.
But he can't coach save a lick. He can't. He doesn't because he can't. He can't teach what he knows because he sees the game differently than anybody else. So when you own a business and you try to get salespeople around you, if you don't know your product, how are you going to teach them something that you don't understand?
You can't. And it takes an incredible amount of patience. But I love to train. I used to be head of litigation for a publicly traded company, and I did a lot of their policies and their procedures and their training. And I realized that's another thing I just really enjoy is teaching people so that they can create their own livelihood while at the same time helping the business. It's literally a triple win because the sales reps are making a living, I'm making a living, the companies are making a living. Everybody wins in the Salesforce scenario, and I love it.
That's the nature of the beast. I've been doing sales for about 44 years in my life, of one thing or the other, and she'll tell you I've had over 2,000 jobs. Right?
Wow.
Yes, you've had about 2,572.
Because
73
I
maybe.
get bored. That's why. But sales is a very unique deal. It's not for everybody. It can be very lonely, even if you pop a big deal. The only one to put their hand on your back and say "good job" is yourself. You have to be able to live with the word no. When people tell you no, I'm not interested. And it all depends if you listen to the reasons why and the whole night. But what I like is you're exactly where. When we started this adventure, right, it's now 3 years apparently old, we started with just a camera and
And your
the
encoder.
And nobody knew what the hell the encoder was. Now we have 3 states that we show on cable TV. We have
A
Roku
studio, a
and-
dirty popcorn machine, and I always feel like Steve Martin in The Jerk.
I think
When
it's
I leave,
amazing.
I'm taking this and this and this and my chair, my popcorn machine, and the
No,
router,
but-
my Dawn doll, and
Yeah, but I mean, don't take for granted. You have a lot of things going. You got a magazine
got a lot
going.
going.
You've been interviewing on magazines. We have Roku. We have because we said we wanted to get closer to the TV.
you've
so
got a
now we have the
fantastic
apps.
crew. Tell me how you came up with the name Laws of Life.
Well, I was just trying to find a name that described really what the theme would be, and the philosophies of life and how people cope with their challenges, their stresses, their anxiety, their entrepreneurial lessons, and that was sort of the phrase that I came up with to describe all of that in a nutshell. What are someone's golden nuggets of life? What are their laws of life that help them live their best life?
And what's your demographic? What is the pinpoint? Who do you talk to? What businesses, ages, and things like that? Male,
I
female?
would say my primary demographics probably like the 35 to 65, 70 range. And after doing it 3 years, I run a lot of digital advertising on my videos. So we've been able to get a lot of exposure through the show. And I've made a lot of friends. I mean, even just today, just being on your show was because of the laws of life. I've made business relationships, wonderful friendships, developed new business clients, new opportunity. It's really opened up a lot of doors.
What are your laws of life?
I would say my number one law of life is the 24-hour rule,
Which is
if somebody upsets me or puts me in a bad mood, I really try not to respond or really get emotional or upset. You know, all those traditional instinctual human reactions for a period of 24 hours. I wait, and I find that my perspective of what happened completely changes 24 hours later, and people can cause a lot of damage
That
in
is
that
true.
24 hours.
We know that firsthand, don't we?
I turn mine into 48 hours.
It is true because when you
Yeah,
get
I
a
still not
text,
over it.
when you get a text and you react to the text,
Yep.
it's the first way you read it. I was actually doing this with my son the other day. I was reading a text and I read it again. He says, "Mom, that doesn't sound so bad." I said, "You know what? You're right. It really didn't sound so bad a week later." But at the time when
week
I
later?
read it, my initial hotspot, and it was just one of those bad days, and I got this text, and then I sent it to you, and you sent me one back, and it was like, it just escalated the whole thing. But when I looked back on it on Saturday night and I read it to Aaron, I'm like, you know what? It probably wasn't as bad as I thought it was at the time. So you're absolutely right about that. And you have a workshop coming up, a mastermind.
Yes, I do. On Tuesday, August 27th, from 6 to 8:30 p.m., my partner, Marta Rose Thorpe, and I are hosting a women's mastermind, which is going to be basically, it's going to be at the Wyndham Hotel on Glades Road, an hour of networking from 6 to 7, and then there's an hour program where I'll be doing my show in front of a live audience with 3 guests that exemplify 3 different laws of life that we'll be talking about during the night.
And where are you going to be hosting the show?
It's going to be right in the grand ballroom of the Wyndham Hotel. We're still looking for sponsors, so if there's any businesses out there that want to showcase their business, I will be interviewing them, running ads on those videos, getting them exposure. I mean, there's just incredible ways to connect with the community through this event.
And you have, what, 180 women you said coming?
That's my goal. I want to get 180 women to this event.
A whole lot of women.
It's a whole lot of women.
We did
Isn't
one,
that with
yeah,
Nova her thing?
yeah.
Is that with Nova? Does the upstairs?
Yep.
We did one in Panama City Beach in April, and it was such a positive experience. Everyone felt so inspired and motivated and excited, and everybody was focused. It was incredible.
Well, Panama City is a different animal.
It is, but the
People are
people,
different.
oh,
And
you
what
know
is
what?
it? What's the date on it again?
Tuesday night, August 27th from 6 to 8:30. But there's everybody is going to love this event because first of all, I personally make sure that everybody feels comfortable, that they're welcome. There's going to be, everybody gets the first cocktail free, that it goes to Cash Bar. There'll be appetizers, networking, entertainment. You're going to have a great time.
And what do you think you're going to be talking about? Do you have a focus or a topic?
It's going to be 3 laws of life on life and in business. And I haven't yet decided on which the 3 laws of life are because I'm waiting to see who wants to apply to be a live guest. And depending on their prism of experience will determine the 3 laws of life discussed that night.
Interesting.
You like that? It's a lot going on. It's a whole new perspective.
A lot of dimensions.
She makes it sound like I don't go through this every Wednesday. There are 25 women in here alone.
It's a whole new perspective on it. But we've never met
kidding me?
Blanca Greenstein before.
There you go.
Think about our network. And it got smaller. It got bigger, but bigger meant it got smaller. Does that make sense?
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, what is that?
Well,
English. It got bigger and smaller?
well, it started with 1 and 2,
what?
and then there's this network of the circle of women,
Mm-hmm.
and as their circle grew, it still came back to those circle of women, and then that grew, and then we still came
What the
back
hell
to
are
those.
you talking about?
So you're saying the core group kept making the circle bigger?
Yes, but it always came back to this core group. If you go to Facebook and you see who knows everyone, you know all those players. We have never met Blanca Greenstein before, or her players, or her network. It's a whole new network of
Do you
people.
understand
There
what
you
she's
go.
talking about?
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Of course she
In
does.
other words, you know a lot of the regular players, but it's nice to meet a new player in the
It's nice
game.
to meet a new player in the game who's local,
Is
who's
that
in
what
our
all that meant?
backyard, who's going to be at the Wyndham, where we often frequent. We produced a show there every month
Wow.
with those players. But it's nice to have a new player in the game.
Thank
and you're
you.
probably not new in the game, you're just new to our game. So it's nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Thank you so much. Well, I've done a lot of events in West Palm, in Boca, in Broward, and it's open. Everybody is welcome. Everybody.
Well, it's really, we do the women empowerment piece that we started with Carlisle 3 years ago.
Who's Carlisle?
The lady down in Fort Lauderdale.
Alexa Carlin?
Carlin.
Yeah, that'd be her.
Carlisle,
Power
Carlin,
Expo.
tomato,
That's
tomato.
close enough.
Huge Women in Power Expo. That one, that's actually, it's in D.C., I think, next week already.
Yes, and when we met her, she said, "Should I do this?" And we said, "Yeah, go for it." But I told her she was going to be in many other states, and we went in that direction. Now, it has nothing to do with men. Men do not have the same staying power in this part of the game, except for Jay Farah.
I know.
Jay and I are very similar in how we see things. So when it sort of lows down, he blows it up to another level. A little bit different. But women seem to have the long haul. You know, they're in it for the long fight. They're in it to make it better and improve. And when you put all these
What's
women
that called?
together,
Masochism? I'm not
It's
really sure.
I'll tell you, it is a unique bonding experience. But we're probably in the future gonna do co-eds too, co-ed masterminds, because most of my
everything's all
events.
women now?
This particular mastermind that we're having on August 27th
for women.
is a women's event, but we will be doing co-ed ones too. You know, at the end of the day, we can all learn, you know, from each other.
And how do you do the production on it?
Well, basically,
all of your
I
shows.
set up a stage in the grand ballroom. I mean, my set's very simple. It's really 2 chairs and our conversation. So we set up sort of a talk show look at the front of the ballroom. And Marta and I, we lead the motivational section. We're engaging the audience in the conversation. We're getting their feedback. And that's what makes it fun. The audience participates. Then the audience is all warmed up. Everyone is in a great mood. And then the live guest comes up, and the audience also asks questions to the live guest. So it's sort of like you doing your show every day, but with the excitement of a live audience. So it's really fun.
That's
really
fantastic.
fun.
And tell us about Marta.
Marta is the publisher of Grand Lagoon Life magazine, and we became friends when I was in Panama City. And she is an incredible influencer in Panama City, and puts out a very, very beautiful magazine. So her journalistic experience, her event experience, all of her influential experience combined with mine, we make for a really great combination. So we're having a great time together putting on this event.
Very cool.
I love meeting a new player, a new friend in the game. It
Yeah.
changes
That's
the
what it is.
demographics, it changes the bar. Do you know what tomorrow is? Although I thought it was
Tuesday.
yesterday.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a full moon. It is a strawberry full moon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And the day after will be a half a moon. And the day
it'll
after
be
will be the
blueberry
quarter of a
moon.
moon.
No, I'm
And the
saying-
moon will not rise on Friday,
This
December.
is a whole new full moon.
What's that mean? Werewolves at night?
No, it just means
That
all
means
these
what?
things that you.
Yeah, thanks, Hector.
Yes, that werewolves starting to golden retrievers.
There you go.
The werewolves are turned into golden retrievers. You gotta love
You
Hector.
got everybody so silly today. So what does it mean, full moon? So what?
It means all these things, all these seeds that we planted, and all these ideas that we had in our past. We need to let go of those things that do not serve us to move forward to get to where we want to go. And
Where did you get this information? Did you Google this?
Facebook, of course.
It's
I read
Dawn's
an article.
personal
It
law
has
of
to
life.
be real because
Dawn's
it's,
Laws of Life. I like that, by the way, Lisa. Dawn's Laws of Life.
Man.
Laws of Destiny.
What's your number one law of life, Dawn?
Yeah, what is your number one laws of life, Dawn?
Do I have a law of life?
Yeah, tomorrow's a full moon. It is time to, what do you call that when you have to say it?
To manifest.
You
You
have
hate
to-
that word.
No, I don't believe in that
He
either.
hates that word.
I don't believe
I
it.
think
To evolve?
my number one law of destiny is to have faith and hope and keep pushing. Even when Comcast is down, you must continue to prevail.
There
you
you
have
go.
to. As hard as it is, and as Genji says, walk in grace. You got to smile and walk in grace and keep going, because if you don't, the werewolves and the golden retrievers will come out of the strawberry moon. But truly, they do come out, so you have to keep going. And
Love
when you're
that.
a woman in the public eye, you have to keep going.
Heck
You
yes.
have to always walk the
And
walk.
if you're a man in the public eye, close your eyes.
You know what? It's okay for it would be okay for you to sit here and say, I've got a problem, I'm upset. I can't do that.
Why? I
just
am. I
different.
got a problem. Comcast is down. I'm very upset.
I can't.
You can't? You can't
It
what?
does not
You
have
can't
the,
say that?
It does not have the same impact if you say yes as a man and if I say it.
I don't believe that hogwash.
What do you think?
I don't believe that.
I'm with you.
I don't believe that.
It's a different
I
brand.
just
it's
yell.
different-
I yell bigger. That's all. I
True.
yell bigger. Because I like. First of all, it isn't true, Dawn, because nobody's ever seen you when you blow a gasket.
I know.
But I have.
I know.
And when you blow a gasket, I go hide in the room
My husband
somewhere.
feels very badly for you, as a matter of
I
fact.
feel badly for him too. Because the bottom line here is that you have to let that stuff out.
They're all afraid of
You-
me at home.
Oh,
They
so you
follow
don't
me
follow
around
the
house.
24
No,
hour
I
rule.
really do, but I I get quiet. I don't get mad. I get quiet. I go in. When I'm not here, I go in, and they'll walk around and say, "You okay?" Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
go to
listen, you
break.
can't be in a good mood 24/7.
No. And that thing about 24 hours, I'm going to learn to do that because I'm going to tell you, when I see something I don't like, I blow up. I just say, you know what? Read this back to me. You tell me what it means. Because when I'm reading here, this is what it means to me. You want to change that? Here, I'm going to give you an opportunity. But I have an old saying. You bite me, I'm going to bite you back. The only difference is when I bite back, I'm taking everything with me.
Imagine if I said that. Difference between men
You
and
can
women.
say that.
That is one difference between men and
But
women.
you're 5 feet and, you're a little girl.
But stay tuned. Blanc, you want to join us for a little bit?
I'd love to.
All right.
you can have
We've
fun
got
with the
Phil
next time.
Davis joining us. Market Monday, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM. Give us a call. Joe, I hope this works. 888-565-1470. We'll be right back.
Omega-3 and 6. The Asian cultures know that sea plants are one of the healthiest, most nutritional plants you'll find on land and sea. Sea veg has been helping people boost their immune systems, balance their metabolisms, reduce inflammation, and provide moisturizing to skin, hair, and nails. Try sea veg to enjoy all the benefits of these sea vegetables. Sea veg. Feel healthier and younger or your money back. To order, call toll-free 855-627-9929. That's 855-627-9929. Or go on.
1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. Wake up with the Steve Kane Show.
Just tell me what your problem is.
With replays overnight, every night. WNN. Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
The China trade war is on. If you're worried about your investments, listen to Online Trading Academy Radio right here on WSBR. If you like to trade on your own and now think you should stay out of the markets till this thing blows over, listen to Online Trading Academy Radio. Find out how pro traders make money when markets go down. You'll learn how to protect investments from trade war
Test, 1,
markets,
2, 3.
how down markets make money faster than up markets. Listen to Online Trading Academy Radio every day on WSBR. Or get to Online Trading Academy now for a free class. It's the only school in South Florida that teaches Wall Street investing. Call now for tickets to a free half-day class. You'll see how pro investors pick stocks and how money is made in up, down, and sideways markets. Online Trading Academy. Call now, 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510.
Taking over-the-counter or prescription drugs unnecessarily is a drag, whereas feeling great like you used to is the way it ought to be. Learn how to feel, function, and perform to your full health potential. Tune in to the Dr. Bob Martin Show, Sunday morning at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
Go to your app store and download the WNN app on your Android or iPhone. And never miss a Talk 1470 minute.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Have you ever felt that your voice goes unheard? And you think that you can make a difference if only someone would just listen? It's time for women in business to have a place to step into your power, a platform to embrace your hopes, dreams, and your visions, a voice to heal and restore. Your voice can make a difference. We have the platform to share your story and let your voice be heard. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the chance to be heard and shine bright. Contact New Dawn Media by texting CAFE to 80800. That's CAFE to 80800.
Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. As a Cruise Planners travel advisor, Paul Vadiano will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. Paul specializes in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation, wedding, or event just for you. Find Paul at www.cruiseoptics.com, on Facebook, or by phone at 561-232-2626. We make your travel dreams come true.
It's lunchtime, and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from Studio A in the heart of Delray Gallery, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain
And we're back.
restaurant critique, or just a coincidental
Oh, no,
thing
we're
that
not back.
happened to you. Call in toll free at 888-565-1470 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe Part 2. And if you saw Part 1, you're a lucky person.
Because not many people did.
That's right, Comcast is down. Joe, can you hear us, Joe? Joe, are you there?
I'm not sure if Joe hears us.
Joe, can you hear us?
Because he's still playing the intro.
Joe, make sure one open. Joe, can you hear me, Joe?
Maybe
Joe.
he does not hear us.
Joe, make sure that's on. It's all on? Turn all the mics on. Joe, can you hear us? Maybe he doesn't hear us.
Maybe not.
Joe, if you cannot hear me, hum a few lines.
Hello, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, how you doing? He does not hear us.
He does not hear us.
Nope. I
Joe.
hear static.
That's why it went down and came back. No, not the radio. Not the radio. Turn the mic off. Okay. One. Joe, can you hear me, Joe? Hey, Joe. Do it again. Turn mine off.
Okay, I'm hearing you barely. But
Joe, can you hear me now, Joe? Joe! How you doing, Joe? Joe, can you hear me?
yes, but you're breaking up.
All right,
Yes, I
Joe,
can
run a
hear you,
tape
but you're
because
breaking
you're not going to hear us. There isn't enough juice in the hospital.
You're on the air.
All right, so you run a tape, Joe. Joe, run a tape. Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, you, Joe. All right.
Yes, and you don't have to yell.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, Fred.
Well, Joe, we've been talking to you for 5 minutes, Joe. So I don't know if you can hear me or not.
You hear us?
I hope so. It's going in and out.
You hear us now?
I don't know. He keeps turning the music on.
Joe, you hear us?
Joe, you want to dance? Do you want to dance, Joe? No?
He doesn't hear us.
He doesn't hear us.
Keep rolling.
Call him again so we don't hear him. Let's. Joe, we can't hear you. Just run a tape.
At Carmen Care Advanced Laser Therapy, our professional team specializes in finding the best
Later. Yeah. Tell him to run a tape. Okay, he can't hear us. All right, he can't hear us. So we're going to do this. We're going to run the tape and run the show and go later. So welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. Welcome to all our friends across LA, San Francisco, New York, and Chicago. Comcast is down. And when Comcast is down, we all down. So bear with us. We will replay this show. I don't know when, but we'll replay it. We're still rolling, right? Like this guy behind me, his name is Dylan, right? So when I ask him a question, he nods. Like I can see him behind me. Let me turn on my eyeballs. Wait, let me clean my eyeballs. Dylan, is that a yes?
Yes. He shaved for you though, Freddie.
He shaved. I'm gonna shave him all right. Welcome to all our friends, LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, all across. If you're gonna, when you watch the show, you gotta share it out and help us out. How's that? We'll clean this up later.
Happy Monday, everyone. We're going to edit and share it
I'm
out.
exhausted.
Lisa, you edit?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to have fun with today's show then.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
God,
this
this
is
is a
a full
disaster.
production studio that we work with interns, and we have a new group of interns. So often I was told that we should put that out there. So when Freddie is turning around and having a whole nother side conversation, plus Lisa's on the phone having a conversation, you understand why. Because although we are a full show and we do what we do, we train our interns as we go along. They get credit. Some of them get credit. Some of them are just here for the experience. And boy, is this an experience?
This
all
is
I
a
can
nightmare,
say.
is what it is. Anyway, we got a couple of hosts on the air with us, so let's get to that because I'm losing all track of time.
Is that okay?
But
She's
just play
talking.
the commercials and we're good.
He's gonna now on the air. They're playing the show.
All right, so our show is playing. We're going to roll it out this way. We have Blanca with us, Blanca Greenstein, which is not who
Hello.
we thought was going to be joining us, but I'm
Don't even
glad
know who
she
the hell
joined
this
us.
woman is. She
We've
just
got-
showed up.
We've got Rachel Barcelona on the line, and we can't even get to talk to her. So, Dylan, we're going to have to re-coordinate with Rachel and have her join us on another day. We have Phil Davis with Davis. We're going to talk about stock market
Is
investment.
Phil really here? And is he the person
Phil
that's supposed
is
to
really
be here?
He
I'm
was
actually
supposed to
here.
be here. Phil is actually here. Friday, you're going to see this a little bit later, but you will see it before Friday, is our 3-year anniversary party at Crazy Uncle Mike's. Today is one of those crazy days, so come on out, join our fun, 12 to 2 p.m. on Friday. Crazy Uncle Mike's will have some light bites. We also have a cake being provided for us.
You haven't even
by
called him yet.
JD Cakes. Who, Mike? Mike, hot Mike,
You gotta
Mike.
call Mike.
He's a
Remind me.
restaurant. He's going to say, okay,
You gotta
Freddie,
remind
whatever
me.
you want.
He doesn't open till 2, and we're going in there at 10.
So we're going to talk to Mike, and we're going to take care of that as well. J&D Cakes, thank you to them for doing our 3-year anniversary cake. I can't wait to see what
That's gonna be
sweetness
a-
and cuteness
that's
has
gonna be
designed
a
for us, Freddie, on that one.
Smoker. Nice.
So we've got a lot going on. How is it? And happy Father's Day to everyone.
Yes. How was your Father's Day?
Good.
That's it. Just good.
Well, when I was with the family, I talked to my daughters. My daughters are up north, but had a nice
How many
day.
daughters do you have?
2.
Do you know the amazing thing about Father's Day? And we're all the same. How was your Father's Day? Oh, it was great. I talked to my kids. So, before Father's Day, you never spoke to your kids. I mean, this is the way it feels with me.
No,
Like,
I
never
mean,
spoke to my kids.
I had a nice conversation. Both of my girls went out of their way to block out a good hour
There
of
you
their
go.
time to talk to me. Not like hi dad, bye dad, but like we had a good long talk with both of them. They both decided that they were going to spend time. My younger daughter Jackie actually woke up at 11 o'clock
How old
to
is
call
she?
me.
Is that good?
Oh, that's
That's-
early?
That is way earlier than
Is
she
she a
usually wakes
millennial?
up. She must have set her alarm to wake up just to call me.
Wow, so she likes to sleep in.
Yeah.
What time do you
She
wake
likes
up in
to
the morning?
sleep in. I think that's a pretty big understatement.
Wow.
I can't remember the last time I slept until 11.
I slept till 10 on Saturday.
It had to be
Well,
before
you
kids.
gotta understand though. It's like
Yeah.
4 till 12 is their
course.
sleeping time. Not it's
Yes.
not like a normal
So she's young.
human person.
She's
4 in the
enjoying
morning,
life.
she goes to sleep at 4 in the morning?
If that.
How old
Wow.
is Jackie?
Jackie is 17. She's a senior in high school now, and Maddie's in college up at UMass Amherst.
Very
Nice. That's a good
nice.
school.
So they had some time. They carved out some time for dear old dad.
We
Your
carved out
family.
time. We talked about life. Had a nice conversation. I mean, I just saw Maddie. 2 weeks ago, so it's not like they come back and forth all the time.
Very nice.
But it was nice. It was just nice having good conversation and whatever.
Very
And
nice.
then I went out with my mother and my brother, and we had a nice little dinner and everything.
I was exhausted by Sunday. That's all I can tell you.
Why? You didn't even cook.
Yeah, I know.
You picked up stuff.
I know, but Saturday was busy, and then Sunday, by the time everyone left, and I don't understand why people don't sit when they're at your house. Why does everyone feel compelled to stand when you're
Because
at
you
an
didn't
event?
cook. If you had cooked, they sit down.
Everyone stands
Is your
in the
furniture
kitchen.
comfortable?
Yes, maybe
Were they
that's
sending
what
you
it
a-
is.
they were
Maybe
sending
I
you a
need new
hint.
No, that's a
furniture.
good sign. That means you're a great hostess because they're comfortable. They're walking around the house. They're eating everything in sight. That's good.
How many
That-
people you had?
Only 10. Yeah,
10 people.
it's not a lot.
That's a lot.
For what?
For Father's Day.
No.
You always have 10 people in your house?
No.
There
But
you have it.
But normally a 5, so 10's not so much more, it's just double.
What kind of people are they? Like Italian stand. Italians are standards.
No, they're
So it
Jewish,
depends
so
on-
no one
yeah,
expects
Are
me
they
to
Italian
cook.
Jews?
No one expects me to cook, and it's all good.
Nobody expects you to cook.
No, cooking is. Oh, please.
Cooking does
This
not
year-
happen.
Cooking is a shock for Jews.
This year,
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
another.
There you go.
This year, Dawn's mother asked me if I wanted to go and spend Father's Day over there. Now,
Yes.
the Puerto Rican go in there and said, Dawn, what are you cooking? I would say, where's the food, man?
You got Publix wraps. I upgraded from the
Publix
subs to the
wraps?
wraps. Yes.
No, I said,
And a salad with dressing on the side. We were very heart friendly this year.
really? I would have made some rice and beans and brought in a pork shoulder or something.
Yeah, we,
Oh, you
know,
can't
we should
eat
do
that, though, right?
Yeah, we can.
You eat pork shoulder?
Yeah, I ate it here with you for Thanksgiving.
No, you eat it here. Doesn't mean you eat it out in the real world.
If I don't cook it, I don't know how to cook it.
No,
But it
I
was
mean, I
delicious
go
when
to
you
I
picked
go
it
to
up for
Presidente. They cook it for
That
me.
was delicious.
Yeah, pastelillo and all that. You eat that?
I ate it here.
Next time when you invite me, I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna bring the food.
You got it.
Your mother's gonna love it.
She will love
Cause
it.
she loves all that Rican stuff.
You got it. So come on out, join us at Crazy Uncle Mike's from 12 to 2. Come a little bit early. Come network with our network and make your network bigger. I hope you all join us there as well.
I'm in New York.
You're in New York.
Gene and Chris are in New
I'm
York.
there. I'm
Yeah.
there.
That's
You
right.
come.
Gene and Chris are going to be
You
waiting.
can bring all your friends. You can bring 120 women.
I can.
Absolutely.
Be careful what you wish for.
You bring them. Crazy Uncle Mike's hosts 400 people. That's what we're holding.
All right.
Wow.
Bring them. Let's have some fun.
Some in the
And you're
parking
only,
lot.
but you're only telling him now that he has a party on Friday.
Well, no, I told him. We just haven't said
we haven't given
what's
him
coming.
a head
I didn't
count.
know if anybody was
You gotta be
coming.
such a good friend where you can pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, I got 400 people coming on Friday."
Are you kidding? I had a 12-piece band, Latino band coming. I cut that because I said, forget about it. Those guys will bring 400 people. I said, no, never. Let's pass.
But we're going to celebrate somewhere, somehow. We're going to have Comcast. We're
Yeah,
going to get up and
fun.
go and have some fun.
If Comcast is out, it's going to be a real wacky day.
And if you didn't see our first hour, rewind it. Once you see it on the second hour, you're going to meet Blanca Greenstein, which is funny because her name was really Irene. What was your last name? Your maiden name?
Maiden name was Purper.
Eileen
So
Blanca
she's purple,
Purper, but
green,
now
and
she's
white.
Blanca Greenstein.
Not
So
the
we
colors.
got it
See
going.
this?
There
We
you
got
go.
Phil Davis. We can't really do any investment. We can't tell someone to go buy the stock or go do it, but let's talk about what's going on in the market, in the world, and what you do.
Yeah, what the
Right.
hell do you
What
do?
do you do, Phil? Because I know we know you on Tuesdays.
I
you
do a lot
here
of
a lot
things,
with
yeah.
the Hempoka show.
I'm involved with Hemboka because we have an investment firm called PSW Investments, and that puts money into startup companies like Hemboka, and that's one of the companies that we've invested in over the years. We also have a hedge fund, which is called Capital Ideas. It's actually one of the top performing hedge funds in the country right now. And but on the main site, what Phil Stockworld does is we have for more than a decade now, we teach people how to trade, and we teach high-level investing strategies. Like we teach hedge fund managers how to trade. So that's why we have a good hedge.
So you don't do individuals, you do the hedge fund, the big
No,
managers.
we teach anybody. We teach a lot of, a lot of high net worth people come to us because we're tippy top of the sites of people who do this sort of thing. And but we teach regular people all the time. I mean, it's like I don't prejudice somebody who wants to learn how to trade properly. We love to teach them. And in fact, our slogan on the site is "High Finance for Real People, Fun and Profits." Because we want people to enjoy investing. It shouldn't be this horrible thing that everybody's intimidated by. And also, it just drives me nuts to see how poorly people invest and how they don't plan for their retirement properly, and they don't have enough money put aside. And it's so easy to fix, but you have to first get them over. You have to get the mindset of an investor, which just means stop wasting money. Always put some away. Like your grandfather probably taught you, right? That everybody forgets is like, it's like you take money, and when you have money, you take 10% of it and you put it aside and put it in the bank. Or
Well,
put it
how
in
long have you
something.
been doing this? Because I have a question. How long you been doing it?
I've been doing it. Phil Stockworld's been around since 2005, actually.
It was right before the bubble burst.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you that is because, I was in the trade business back in the day. And that game was very, very great to me. I made a lot of money in it, and I made what they call stupid money. And then what happened is philosophies changed, and it began under the Clinton administration. Things started to change, and then the bubble burst, and forget about it, everything changed. But what I want to ask you is, has the philosophy of when you first started to today, because today is a whole different, very complex market. Individuals, the way they think, the way they see things, the Madoff scams, the movies made of the Madoff scams. So if you didn't know who Madoff was, you just went to the movies, you found out.
Yeah.
It affects baseball with the Mets and a couple of other
Sure, they
baseball
were
teams.
involved, yeah.
All of these guys got sling in this deal. Now these guys are supposed to be pros. I mean, you
But
own a
those are the
professional.
haves. Then there's
No,
like
but
the
hold-
haves invest, and it's the have-nots that think I can't.
Right, they're
Well,
gonna run away.
that's a
Right?
different conversation. He's saying that anybody can get scammed.
Yes.
Sure, and those are the
And it's
haves
true.
that got
Well, some
scammed.
guy scammed Warren Buffett recently.
I heard about
Yeah.
that. Is that true? I
That
heard it
is
was a
true.
rumor.
Somebody look,
And he's the best of the best.
but it's the best of the best doesn't mean nobody can con you. It doesn't mean nobody's going to get something over on you. Bernie Madoff had an incredible con going. I mean, he had a thing where he had built it up over 20 years. That Madoff investments always came through. But that's because it was a Ponzi scheme. He got more and more people to invest, and he would pay out like clockwork 20% a year to the people originally, right? So the first round of people gets 20%, which is 1/5 of the money from the second round people. But the second round people is a lot bigger. Then the next round is a lot bigger. 1/5 of their money goes to the second round people. The next round is bigger, and 1/5 of the money goes to the second round people, to the third round people.
Did he explain that when you got involved, where you were and what was going to happen? Or did he just
No,
tell them,
no,
I'm just going to pay you an
no.
investment back?
He faked everything.
Okay.
He had a whole building full of people faking transactions.
Gotcha.
And so what he would do, it's a brilliant scheme. I mean, it just fooled anybody because the records look legitimate, because how do you know when they were printed? You know, and he's showing performance, so you hear from your friend that Bernie Madoff is making 20% like really consistent performance, which is a benchmark for a hedge fund that everybody
That's
wants to
amazing.
hit. You make 20% a year, you're going to be a rich
You're
person.
done.
If you
It's great.
if you make it consistently, it's the dips that kill you. But if you can make 20% consistently and not take a big dip, you will always make enough money to retire on. Obviously, because 20% is 1/5 of a year. So if every 5 years you double up your money, and then
Right.
that money starts doubling every 5 years, it becomes a huge amount. In 20 years, you're set for life.
So that thinking
Yeah.
of being more conservative, because, you know, a lot of people got hurt, has that changed in today's market?
No, because I mean everybody knows that's a one-time thing. Like that's a psychotic thing. You know, it's like saying, you know, it's like saying, you know, you don't walk alone at night because Son of Sam happened. You know, it's like it's a thing that happened that was insane. That just like, you know, there aren't many people who would do such a thing. There aren't that many people, and people are much more cautious now. They'll back test records. You have to file, and my hedge fund has to get audited, and so on and so forth.
So investing is safe today.
No, because somebody can still. There's always going to be a guy who figures out how to scam the system.
Oh, so you have to be careful.
But there's always going to be guys who tell you how great something is and how wonderful something is and how good their things are doing, and they were cooking the books. Look at Theranos. How recently was that?
Right.
You know about that story? The woman who had the company that tested blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And that was a story that everyone, right? And talked
That
about a
broke
woman
my
in
heart.
business and.
no, not a woman in business. You're talking about a business that became a multi.
Oh yeah, but
billion-dollar
everyone you
business.
believed
But
her
we
'cause
looked
she
up
was
to her.
believable, right?
Yeah.
So as a woman, and you think, well, look where she came from, and she walked the ranks, and she came up. This is a great idea, and she built it, and she did it. As a woman's perspective, all these women are going to say, yeah, I'm going to back her. I'm behind her. Let's invest in this women empowerment story.
And that's
And
that's what she played off. Like
That's
she's
the
just-
catch.
She's just a con woman, and she got you because she saw that people were susceptible to that.
And
That
you know
the
what,
woman
though?
executive rising star Steve Jobs clone thing, and she's like Zelig, you know. She turns into like a little Steve Jobs and does
Really?
everything he did. Yeah.
And then I look at her and think, well, maybe we all got it wrong. Maybe she really didn't do something bad. Like, I want to see the good side and think that maybe
She's
there's
a
another
monster.
side, and maybe the media just misconstrued it.
She's
That's
the
what I would
monster
like.
under the bed. What are you kidding me?
I know. Let's go to commercial
And
break.
oh, okay. It's not just because she took people's money. It's because she pretended to give sick people results that were completely
Well, that's
bullshit.
exactly. So that was even more than money. This is your health, and we always
Yeah.
say there is nothing more important than your health, because that is life and death, and that's a whole nother side of it. You want the money?
Yes.
All right, Dylan. We're going to go to commercial break.
If you
Freddie
don't have
wants
the
the
money,
money.
what's the point,
Money,
right?
health. What do you got?
Makes me ill when I
Stay
don't.
tuned. We'll be right back. You're ill.
At Carmen Care Advanced Laser Therapy, our professional team specializes in finding the best alternative laser therapy treatments for your painful conditions. Do you suffer with chronic pain, a post-traumatic injury, or simply looking for the benefits of cell rejuvenation to the skin? Schedule a consultation today to understand how photobiomodulation can help reduce your symptoms, reduce or even eliminate pain. Give us a call today, 561-405-9577. We focus on treating you who has a disease, not a disease that defines who you are. Contact Carmen Care Laser Therapy today, 561-405-9577 or carmencarelaser.com.
Sexy, seductive, and beautiful. Looking for a professional and talented photographer? Danielle Boujon specializes in capturing flirtatious and tasteful images for yourself or your partner. Located in South Florida, Danielle really knows how to bring out your inner beauty on a shoot. Visit her website at www.daniellebuljan.com or call her at 561-305-2241 to capture your most desirable moments.
This reminds me of when I was an altar boy. I used to ring the bell, and everybody wanted to do that. When he held the Eucharist up, he was.
You know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to run a credit card machine. That was like one of my bucket list things when I was a kid.
You never did that.
Do you remember back in the
You
day
never
where
worked
you had,
retail?
I did, and then I thought, well, this is kind of cool. Not so much. Let's keep going. Remember with the credit card put in there, you got the carbon copies. I thought that was so cool when we could make that.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah,
Miss those days.
miss those days. The carbon copy credit card machines.
The one, the slide.
Yes,
slider?
that was one of the things I always
I
wanted
have
to
one.
do.
You want it?
Yeah, that's how we're gonna. Our sponsors will pay. I'm gonna just run it that way. Forget Square. Forget all those people that don't email me back. That too. All of that. We're here at a crazy Monday at the Brooklyn Cafe TV. You're going to watch us after we're recorded because we have no internet because of all the rain. I think Comcast is down where we are. But we've got Phil Davis with us. We're talking what's going on in the market. We've got Blanca Goldstein with us, which is hilarious. We're talking the laws of life. Somehow I think your name should be Lisa. Want to know why?
Why?
Lisa's Laws of Life.
Oh, we would have an alliteration.
All right, I'll start.
Right?
There you go.
Doesn't that make a whole lot more sense than
There you
Blanca's
go.
Laws of Life?
I thought her name was Lisa.
I
Isn't
know.
her real name Lisa Blanca?
No, but I feel like your
Blanca
name should be Lisa.
Greenstein.
But there's a first name.
And
Eileen.
Blanca Irene Pepper
Irene.
Greenstein, if you really want to find my
No,
Purple
Lisa.
Greenstein.
That's a long name.
But that's Lisa. I'm thinking Lisa would just.
Oh, you're Lisa.
Lisa's Laws of Life would be just so poetic.
That works too. I'm telling you.
Change your
And
name.
There you go. We'll give you your own sub show.
There you go. Lisa's Laws of Life.
That's hilarious.
And if we're talking investment, it seems like the haves, they know they can hire you, Phil. They can hire their investment firm, and they're going to make this whole beautiful portfolio, and you're going to take out of your big chunk of money you make every month or a year, however you do it, and you put it away, and you're good. Then I think about these kids and our kids, and right, and how can they even afford to invest? And then where do they start? My daughter's a teacher, so she has this opportunity to put some money away in her pension. But my son's going to be a lawyer, and he's got loans to pay. He's going to say, Mom, I can't afford to invest anything. I got $200,000 in loans. The right attitude or the wrong attitude?
Look, you got to make choices in life, and I tell my people all the time, I'm like, look, hedge fund managers are for lazy people. You know, you say, oh, you can pay someone to manage your money, sure, but hedge fund I teach people not to have a hedge fund manager. Although I run a hedge fund, which is ironic, but there are some people who make more money working than they do playing with the stock market. You know, there's some people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they want to work. or the doctors, lawyers, they own companies, whatever, they're running a business. They don't have time to sit there and stare at a screen all day. That's what they pay
That's
me
right.
to do.
That's
as a
not
hedge
their
fund
area of
manager.
expertise, right? It would be better to say, you know what, Phil, this is what you do. What's the best way? But I look at these kids, and is there?
But that's
if they
a
do,
different story
you know,
though, because
$20 a month.
they have
or-
a discipline they have to learn. Last week, in fact, what's Wednesday? Wednesday's 19th, so it'll be the 10th. So the webinar on my website from the 10th, I spent a lot of time talking about. I don't want to get too heavily into it, but I spent a lot of time talking about saving, building a portfolio for small investors, compound interest rate returns. And I'll give you a good example though. There's a video we have on the web that says how to get rich slowly. So you can Google how to get rich slowly and find us. And it's aimed towards starting investors. And one of the things we sort of try to hammer home, and there's even an article about it on our site too that expands on the concept. But we try to hammer home the point that you have to understand what compound interest rates do, because when you talk about saving, you have to get a handle on the value of what you're saving. So in other words, if you take $100 now and you put it in the market, and the market makes 8% back for you, and you save it for 40 years, which is what these guys are looking at, is 40-year savings lines. 8% for 40 years on $100 comes out to like $3,000. Okay, and yes, there's going to be inflation that's going to eat into some of it and so on and so forth, but still $3,000. Now, you knock that down to $10 and it's $300, right? But that means every time you spend $10 on something stupid, it's $300 out of your retirement that you're taking away.
Well, potentially $300, because that's
Not really
assuming. Well, that's
potentially.
assuming your 10% is across the board.
No, 8%.
consistent.
I'm
Oh,
talking
8%
8%.
consistent.
Yeah, but that's the market returns over 100 and something years. I mean, that's
Understood.
and
No, I
not to
understand.
mention the fact that the planet grows at 6%. You know, the 6% global GDP growth. It's kind of hard to stop that, even when the stock market collapsed in 2008, but the world economy didn't collapse.
Correct.
It was just the perception that the world economy was collapsing caused the stock market to collapse. But the reality, and in fact in 2009, I was pounding the table for people to buy stuff, because I wrote an
It was
article
cheap.
then that became very famous that was called Getting Real with the Global GDP. So in the total depths of the stock market crash, I ran an article and I did the math for people, and I said, look, there are 7 billion people on this planet, and those people, I said, a person carrying a jug of water on her head in Africa is generating $2,500 of GDP. I said, so you're not, no matter how bad you think things are now, all you people sitting there saying, oh my God, the banks, this, that, blah, 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 and everyone's hair's on fire over the market. I said, you guys have jobs, most of you have homes, you're going to the supermarket, you're generating $10, $20, $30,000 worth of GDP. And there's 2 billion people like you, and there's always going to be 6 billion people like them with jugs of water on their heads or pushing a plow or whatever. And that's the minimum. And if you take 6 billion times 2.5, right? That right there is 15 billion dollars. Sorry, $15 trillion.
Okay, you lost me on the GDP back there.
Well, it's growth. He's talking about the generalized growth.
What I was saying is that there's a certain minimum economy, and so it can only shrink so much until you're at the subsistence wages of a poor farmer in Africa. And at the time, the market was trading as if the whole world had gone to that level.
Exactly.
And that's where I said, this is just ridiculous. And I said, so what's the solution at the time? I said, buy blue chips. Very simple. Buy Apple,
Because they were
buy
cheaper,
GE,
too.
buy IBM.
Everything went down.
How did you get involved in the market?
My grandfather, Max Davis, was a investor. And he was born in 1903 in London. And so by the time I was 10 years old in 1973, he was 70 years old already. And he taught me investing, because what he used to do is he used to have me sit on the floor when I would visit him in the summers, because he was still in England. He used to have me sit on the floor, and we would take the Sunday paper, because the stocks only came out on Sundays back then. Like you had no idea what your stock was doing during the week. People didn't sit there with their phones all day long going, "Ooh, how am I doing?" It was like once a week in the paper, you would find out how your stock did for the week. And my job was to circle things that made new highs and new lows. And once we did that, he would then look to see if there are several companies doing the same thing. And then we'd look in the papers to see if there's any reason why this was happening. And he would make an investment premise based on that. But he always treated me like an adult. He would always tell me why he was thinking this and what he saw and so on and so forth. And the coolest thing we used to do is if he was thinking of buying a company, he would go to London. And we were in London. He was in London. But he would go into a town in London. And he would just go right up to the door of the company. And he would knock on the door and he would say, "I'm thinking of investing in your company. May I speak to somebody, please?" And you would be surprised. Back then, this is in the 70s, but it was surprising how often we would end up sitting down with like the operations manager or a vice president or something like that. And they'd give us like 10 or 15 minutes because they're like, "Oh, somebody's here who wants to invest in our company. I'll talk to him."
You know, that's the story that I think all the technology we've lost. We've lost and this goes to where you are. We've lost the relationships. We've lost sitting on the floor and teaching our kids from generation to generation on what it's about, because everyone's on their phone. The conversation doesn't even happen. We were at a party the other day and there were 5 boys sitting around the table all playing a card game, whatever it was. But they weren't talking, they were screaming at their phones. But I remember my grandfather would sit, and you're gonna laugh.
They were screaming at their phones while they were playing a card?
Yeah, about go, 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 go. There was no teaching. It was not the teachable moment. My grandfather would sit and teach me how to make change from $1, and he'd shake his head. He goes, "Oh, you're just not getting this, are you?" But those are the things that you remember as kids, right? I don't know what these kids remember in those relationships. It's why when you get to be with your grandsons, how important those relationships are.
My grandfather taught me how to keep the books in his shop. They had a dress shop, and he taught me how to do the books.
Incredible.
I was growing up, I was taught to keep books too for the bookies.
I was going to say, I don't know what books you were taught to
I used to keep the track of the numbers. There's something in New York called la bolita, which is the 3 numbers. And when you hit for $500 for a dollar. Okay. So those 3 numbers are always Roosevelt Raceway, or some raceway, the last 3 digits of the attendance. Right? So somebody had to keep track of that.
Kind
so
of a random number, yeah.
It's the last 3, so it's 784. My number was 099. I made tons of money on this number. But I learned, as a kid, I was disciplined to learn every day in that newspaper. I used to get the paper no matter what. That was my job. Now, in the 80s, when the Mets went to the World Series in 86, I was working for John Hancock, and I sold a variable light piece. And the clicker was only at 2,800, 2,864.
Yeah.
2,864. Now, where are we today? 25, 26,000?
10 times.
If you took $100, like he said before, and you just left it there, you'd be a millionaire today. True?
No, you'd have 1,000. 10 times.
Well, I mean $100 a month.
Yeah, if you took $100 a month. And oh, by the way, we lost that point I was trying to get to before because we took a break. What I was saying is, given that you know that it's actually over 40 years, it was 100 times. And so given that you know that if you buy a $10 cup of coffee now, you're taking $1,000 out of your retirement, basically.
Correct.
Would that change your spending habits?
You should
Would that change your spending habits?
Would it change your spending habit? It's got to change your spending habits. You have to learn the numbers. This is the problem, though. They don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you investing basics in school.
It's kind of scary.
And also when you buy a house, you have to say, you know what? Instead of buying a house I can barely afford, I should buy a house I can easily afford and take the extra money I would have paid in the mortgage and stick it in the bank, because you know what? If you take, let's say you buy a house and it's $50,000 more than another house, right? If you took that $50,000, put it in the bank for 30 years, you would have enough to buy 3 houses. You'd have like about $1.5 million, $2 million. Just putting $50,000 in a market, 8%, same thing over 30 years, the same 30 years as your mortgage. So instead of paying the bank, and if you buy a $500,000 house for a 30-year mortgage, you will end up paying about $1.25 million for that house. That's how much interest you end up paying over 30 years. So instead of paying all this money extra to the bank, you would then have the money cash to buy your next home with. And everybody's like, you know, the days of pretending that a home is going to appreciate to the sky, that's gone. That happened one
done.
time.
Ain't
Our
happening again.
parents had the lucky, you know, our parents were very lucky, older people were very lucky. They bought their homes in the 60s and 70s, and they went up 10 times in value. That was a one-time thing. That's not normal. It's not going to happen again because we had a great economy. We had a post-war economy. We had a baby boom. People were expanding, moving out. All that stuff is not happening anymore.
And you know, it's funny because a lot of the millennials, they want to make $1 million right away. Like Gio, when he came out of Full Sail, he invested in Square. That
Well, that's
app.
not bad.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I told him, Gio, it's a great idea. Buy it, set it, and forget it. Because if you're gonna look at this every day, you're not gonna make $1 trillion in a day. Forget, just gotta set it and leave it for your kids.
Which is
Just
why it
leave
was
it there.
kind of good to only look at it once in the Sunday paper,
I like
because
that.
right, you're not consumed with it. But it goes back
Yeah,
to
but we
getting
get
off
consumed.
the
But
phone.
that's what teaches me or taught me to be a patient investor is a combination of doing that with my grandfather and understanding that once a week is fine to watch something. He's a really fundamental investor. We'd sit there and talk to these guys. He'd sit there and talk to the CEOs of the companies and whatever and say, hey, so why are you doing this and what's going on here and what's this with your business and what are you thinking of for next year? And based on that, he'd make a decision, but based on fundamentals, not based on what the little charts going up and down and things like that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of knocking on a door and going to a company and having a sit down before you invest is extraordinary. What's the parallel today in your mind? What's the best way for us as consumers to have that digital dialogue? What's the best place to look?
You read, well, to some extent you read the analyst reports as people who follow people. Like I interviewed Mutha Kent, he was the CEO of Coca-Cola, and I asked him a lot of, like my grandfather would, I asked him questions like, well, I'm like, what happens, you know, I said, are you kind of using all the sugar in the world? I asked him that question because he was like, yeah, he's like, they couldn't move, the reason Coca-Cola can't have sugar Coke in America like they do in a lot of countries is because it would take up all the sugar in the world. There's not enough sugar in the world for them to put sugar in Coca-Cola in America. You know, we drink way too much of it to go to sugar. And it's an interesting concept. So you think that, you know, it's like little things like that that people don't think to ask. So there are, when they have their earnings reports, the CEO will usually do a conference call where they answer a lot of questions, so you read those carefully. There's analysts like me who will sit there and ask detailed questions. You have to start learning who you like as an analyst, though, and who asks good questions. There's a lot of hacks. 90% hacks, I'd say.
But I love the idea that of teaching and what you do on your webinars, of teaching people and the patients and some of the tools, and then say, you know what, you can either learn it on your own or then you hire the professional. But at least you know what you're doing.
Patience is the hardest thing to teach people.
That's with anything.
Yeah.
And you are patient.
Yeah, but not when it comes to investing. I was a mess.
Really?
Yeah, you're kidding? But I found it like a toy, right? So let's say I started with $10,000. And when I went to 20, I took out my original 10. Now I'm playing with house money. It was the funniest stuff. So I had this bell in stocks I was looking at. It was a lot of studying. It's not simple. The market is not a simple animal. And then things that you can't control around the market become even more. So you just gotta have to have a little perception. My father bought Coca-Cola in cans when it first came out in the day. And he went home and he told his brother. He says, look, this guy, we did this apartment and he sold me stock. Coca-Cola in cans is coming out. And his brother says, get rid of that, you idiot. Who the hell's going to buy soda in cans?
Yeah. And now look.
So every time I see my 88-year-old father, I bring him a can of Coke. I say, you remember that?
It's like, who's going to watch sports on your phone?
That's right. That's another thing. When we were streaming.
I don't get that.
I'm streaming on the phone. When we started streaming, the NBC, all of them said to me, who the hell's going to watch sports on their phone? They didn't believe in the streaming concept on your phone.
I can't get this whole thing that kids do where they watch everything on the phone.
Everything.
Watch everything.
Like my kids, we got a big hotel room with like a couple of different, like a living room kind of thing, and there were 3 TVs, and mine's on all the time, and theirs they had them, my kids and their friends were there. There were like 6 kids, 2 TVs, not one of them was on the entire time.
No, they're talking on their phones to each other in the room.
Not to even put it on. It's not even a thing they're interested in.
None.
It's so weird.
What hotel is 3
A
TVs
big
in?
one.
A big one. All right, Dylan, let's go
It's
to
not one
commercial.
room. It was like a bedroom, couple of bedrooms, living room. You know.
The point is the TVs were
Right
in
on.
there.
Let's
I
go to
just found the whole
commercial break.
situation
When we come back, let's talk about, you know what? It's still in the relationships. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Do you want to enhance your love life with flowers? Rejuvenate love, life, health with flowers from Blossom Moments? Weekly deliveries to your home, your business, hospital, or even senior centers. Give us a call at 561-951-6343. Blossom Moments could also coordinate your wedding or event. Contact Blossom Moments at bmgevents.net. For all of your floral event needs, large or small, call Blossom Moments. 561-951-6343. And we look forward to hearing from you.
And we're back at the Brooklyn Cafe TV. We're not even live. We are recorded like Memorex. Are you live or Memorex?
Oh, when you see it on the screen,
Memorex?
it'll be, yeah.
I remember
Memorex?
That was a commercial.
Live or Memorex? That used to be a joke when women started getting implants. And everyone would say, are they live or a Memorex?
I never heard that, but
Yeah,
okay.
welcome to South Florida.
You ever heard that?
No.
In South Florida, Memorex breasts?
Yeah, kind of.
Fake breasts.
That was pretty much it. Live or Memorex, like recorded, fake.
The things you remember.
The things that I
I
digress
remember
in.
Carvel ice cream, and you remember.
You know, I
fake
wanted to
breasts.
get a Fudgy the Whale cake yesterday. I did not get one
In
though.
Publix again.
They still have those?
They still
Publix.
have those.
Wow.
There are still Carvels. We
That's
talk
a
about
classic.
production.
Yeah.
Talk about production relationships. Freddie always says that was what the worst commercial ever made.
It was. It was voted the worst commercial ever made, and it was #1.
But we all remember it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a branding monster.
The Fudgy the Whale cake. Have you guys ever heard of it? Fudgy the Whale.
You know Carvel? Okay.
And you can
These
still
guys,
hear.
these guys have no idea.
You can still
that
hear
we used
his
to
voice,
watch.
right?
There were only 3 channels that we could watch, and you had to watch the commercial because if you didn't want to watch it, you had to get up and turn the knob.
Had to
It's
get
true.
up.
And you heard. You can still hear. What was his name?
Yeah,
You still have that TV?
with a dial.
Wait
No
till you see our
kidding.
cake on Friday.
Now, in a Puerto Rican house, you had the big color TV. Never worked. You had the black and white and me holding the antennas.
The black and
On
white,
top.
the black and white on the color TV, right?
With the rabbit ears?
Just the antennas?
I had to
rabbit
hold.
ears and tinfoil?
I had to
That's
hold.
right.
They used to put
Somebody's job-
tinfoil on my
somebody's
fingers.
job was to hold.
That was
The
mine.
tinfoil.
I was
The
tinfoil
TV
man.
in my parents' house, I think, still has tinfoil in the rabbit ears.
Really?
I think pretty much.
That's a classic. That's why that TV's there. That was the one we had on our television.
It's so funny. So
It's just
Blanca, are you
outrageous.
now inspired for your motivational?
Are you
Have we
kidding
given you
me?
some things to think about?
Absolutely. Being around you guys, I'm going to be in an amazing mood for probably the rest
You'll
of the
be
summer.
taking pills soon.
The Laws of Life with Blanca. So on August 27th, you're doing the Visions of the Laws of Life.
That's right.
So now you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe we've inspired you or
Really?
uninspired.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, you're human relationships. It's all about meeting people. And no matter how much technology there is, no matter how much social media there is, you can never forget the human element. In sales, in friendships, relationships, whatever you're doing, there's nothing like meeting a person face to face.
And that's old school. And I wonder if, the younger generation, you've got younger daughters, do they realize that how important the face-to-face relationships are?
No.
Question.
No.
No, and not only that,
Well,
they're going to laugh at you when you tell them how important it is. Because my son does it all the time.
I have to say
Well,
that
he's in the IT space, right?
to some extent, I think that we have a certain prejudice about it, where it's to us, we were what's that word? Socialized. We were socialized to value those live conversations. We take cues from facial expressions, from body language and things like that. We've done this for our whole lives, so we're not comfortable when it's taken away from us. So when we talk to someone on the phone, we don't feel like we're having a proper conversation. When we even see a video of somebody, we don't feel like that's really a good representation of being with somebody.
And even a text. We talked about this in the first hour. Her 24-hour rule is when you get a text or you get this message, pause for 24 hours and then reevaluate it, because the reaction is probably going to be different.
Yeah, there's no
see, you
rule.
say
You
that
have to
though.
respond in 5 seconds.
Well, yeah, but you say that though. But see, I have to say, my daughter plays virtual reality games and has her whole life, and part of that's my fault because I used to be a gamer and I used to play stuff, and so when she was even a little kid, I used to get her into I gave her like cool gaming things that she could play with, and she got really into it. So she plays like Warcraft with friends all over the world, and has for a decade. And she has teams and groups and people that she hangs out with that have been her friends for years and years. She's never met them outside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Blanca, do you
But
have kids?
everybody knows her
do,
as much as
too.
anybody at school knows her.
Yeah.
And for her, those relationships are exactly as real as the people that she knows. In fact, she thinks she knows them better. I might know some people at school, but I don't know how they handle a dragon under pressure,
That's true.
It's like something you don't think
my
about.
14-year-old son created that banner. He created this company.
Mhm.
And I sat with him one night. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and he's talking to 30,000 people
Yeah.
playing these games. And it made him go into this deal professionally, is what he does. And it was because of this mindset. But at least I said to Gio, you got to somewhat come back to reality, because
With
business.
pineapple shirts? I'm not so
Well,
sure
he
he
does.
hit reality.
Well,
I'm
he,
just saying.
no, but he has,
Teasing.
but he has things going on at work where
He's a
reality
great
now,
kid.
reality is going to come out and is going to be upfront. You can't pay these student loans or your mortgage, because when he tells me I got student loans, well, I got a mortgage. You want mine? Mine's is for 30 years. Yours is gonna be for 10. Do you want mine? You got to get into the reality of what the game is.
But the relationships is important. And your kids, how old?
My daughter Leia is 17 and my son Elliot is 15.
So they're still young. See, our kids are older already.
Older nothing.
But you know what? I mean, look, listen, the digital world is incredible. I mean, I wouldn't have met you today if our mutual friend hadn't introduced us.
Right.
So it's powerful, but you have to use the digital and intertwine it with the other ways of connecting with people. You can't just rely on it exclusively.
No,
Exactly.
but nothing should be exclusive.
Nothing.
But you have to. I'm saying you have to accept it though, because like we were in England last summer, and my daughter met one of her best friends for the first time in real life. This is a girl she's known for years and years. The girls in England. My daughter's in New Jersey. They never met each other. We were in England, so she's like, oh, I got to meet this person. That person lived far away in England, came all the way down to London to get together. They were so happy to actually see each other and hang out and whatever.
How cool is that?
But it's and I'm saying though, so they built a very valid relationship completely online, and not even online, like basically in a game.
Wow.
And that's where that relationship started, and that's where they had their relationship. But now she's like, oh, I'm coming here, and the way we read body language, like, you know, emojis look stupid to us, right? But they take a huge amount of information out of emojis. Like when they communicate with each other. And they put those little emojis in. They have subtext that we're completely unaware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it becomes a little scary when somebody starts abbreviating words, LOL to me, or you know they start SMH, and I'm like, it took me a while to learn that.
Well, that's not an emoji. That's emoji.
But just the words. But they're using
you don't know what the hell.
But they're using it to communicate, and that's when I say, okay, enough is enough.
But even when we're trying to get guests, you'll get a guest on a text.
Yeah.
You have no idea anything about them. I can send the same exact text out. Let's have a conversation, and then they have to.
Yeah, because you ask too many
talk to me
questions.
on the phone.
Yeah, too many questions.
What questions?
I say, do you want to come on the show? Yes. She says to me, what do you want to talk about? Do you work for somebody or your own business? I have my own business. Okay, give me 2 sentences what you do. Blah, blah, blah. All right, come on down.
Me, the phone's ringing. I got to make an appointment. I've got someone. She's 3 weeks out for talking to me. I'm like, you know what? This is crazy.
Yeah, well, if you can't make a decision, then let me know in 3 weeks. 3 weeks I'll still be hopefully we'll
3
still
weeks
be
after
around.
conversation. I know, but it's just different. Relationships are different in the market, and
I think it's the way you look at it.
Do you hear that?
Yes.
Well,
But I will say,
More
I mean,
rain.
I love the human element, but then people also need to take the time to read, because now with websites and, with Facebook pages and, you can put a lot of time into explaining things.
Right.
For example, my event, lawsoflife.shop. You can go there, you can see every level of sponsorship, what the event's going to be like, every single detail, and maybe do a little reading and then ask questions after you take 10 minutes to self-educate too. So you want to be engaged in your relationships, but you also have a duty to self-educate as well, so that the conversation can be more efficient, because time is valuable.
Yes. But I love the fact, your background and your background, when you guys mix your deals together that you're doing your businesses, it's that background that always bleeds through it.
And then it both comes
That's
down
what
to
I love
sales for
about
both of you, because you're training people in sales. I remember your conversation you had with Chris and Jean about this is sales for Hemp Boca. You have to get out there. You have to be present. You have to walk into these institutions, these businesses, and say, this is my product face to face. Because on paper, why was Hemp Boca any different than this other hemp company?
Well, you said something was really interesting. There's an old saying, always be closing, the ABCs, always be closing.
Yeah.
That game has changed in my world. It isn't about just closing, it's closing correctly, closing intelligently. Sometimes, and I tell my kids all the time, you're making a deal here. You think this is where the deal is. Your real deal is over here. You just can't see it yet. That's why I hate the word manifestation, because I think it's happening, we just haven't caught up. But the bottom line here is when you close, you got to close intelligently. Listen. I don't think we've listened anymore as a society, because we're putting all of what we want into a deal, and for me, that's a one-sided deal.
Well, that's the Trump thing. That's the art of the deal, where you try to win a deal, whereas I look at something as a win-win. In fact, I even said I was talking to Chris and Jean about that. I said, you don't go in, you talk about getting in front of somebody and going into a store. But I said, there's no point in going in there unless you know what you're trying to accomplish. And what you're trying to accomplish is to build a relationship, and that means a relationship means you're going to sell them something, sure, but it's got to be something that they can sell.
Right.
That's going to make them money. Yes. Otherwise, what the hell are they talking to you for?
Why are they talking to you for?
Yeah,
exactly. That's a good point.
And you've got to know the product that's right for the person you're going into. You've got to know whatever it is. If you're providing a service, the reason you're providing a service is to enable the other person to better their lives or better their income or whatever. It's about creating a value, something, a value can be an emotional value, it can be a financial value.
And actually, Dylan sent us an article about that. I don't know if you read it.
I
was
read
the TED Talk?
I saw it.
About even if you're going to a party or you're going to an event, what is the purpose of the event? What does it mean to you? What do you want to take away from the event? Dylan sends great things, and you just got to take the time to read through it, and great guests and great articles. But I thought that was, when you network every day, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of what we do here? Why do we do what we do? What do we want to get from it? Is it the relationship? Is it the networking? Is it whatever it is, to turn on Comcast, even if it's not normal to somebody else. If that's what our intent is, then that's what it should be.
Well, everybody has a
structured
different. There's a different. It's like every pedal on a rose. Everything is different for everybody. So what works here may not work there. You sort of have to construct it so that everybody's happy, and a happy client is going to work with you. If you are going to tell him, listen, this is what I do. This is what I do. Eventually, if it isn't working, it's going to be a real short relationship. So do you want long relationships? Or do you want short relationships?
Couldn't agree more.
You know, you're in the business of networking and network. I remember when you first came out with that word for me, towards me, about a year ago, and I said, wow, you know, that's really cool. The way I don't even know who's even coming.
Yeah, clearly.
I never do.
But anybody that comes is going to be a potential guest on your show. They're
Yes.
going to be a potential
Yes.
advertiser. They could just be a friend. They could become a consulting client. There's 100. That's what I love about networking, is because I just look at meeting new people as a gift. And I don't know. Maybe they will be a friend. Maybe they will be a client. Maybe they will be both. Maybe they, you know, you just never know. It's like a Chinese fortune cookie. You never know, but it's fun.
I had a real estate lady. I did a deal. I thought I was doing a deal, and she took me to school. And I sat there, and I put my pen down. I says, okay, teach me. It's a true story. I said, teach me. She showed me a whole different side in the real estate world of how she pitches and goes. You know, that side hustle thing you were talking about? I said, you know what? I tipped my hat. I was pretty good. And she took me to school. And I'm not worried about it. I learned something I learn something every day, you know, about everything that goes on around me. And that's why I'm trying to teach Gio and Freddie. You know, they're salesmen. They do sales. I says, you got to understand the concept of how this is changing. So
It always changes. Phil, how can people reach you in Phil's Stock World? How do they find you?
Well, we're www.philstockworld.com, and I hope you guys have a chyron or something for that. And that's the way we're online. They can get on the site. They can check out the new members area. We have an educational section. They can browse articles, all sorts of things. You know, you don't have to be a member to get everything, but then there's different membership levels where you can get more intensive financial training, advice, so on and so forth.
All right, and to find you, Miss Lisa Blanca. I know
There you
Blanca
go.
Lisa.
You
Blanca
can
Lisa.
find me at the best place is to go to lawsoflife.shop. That's where you can find out all about the upcoming event that we're having on August 27th, or on Facebook by searching The Laws of Life with Blanca.
Well, bring them on Friday. We'd love to meet all of them. I have a ball with it.
I'll do
and,
my best.
We'll put you in front of a mic with some cameras, and you could show us your thing, as they say.
All right, have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, maybe same place. I don't know. We'll see you Friday for sure. Crazy Uncle Mike's. Be kind to each other.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
All right.
I like that.
Pure Wave. Supercharge your cells. Energize your body with Pure Wave therapy. Are you ready for improved cell regeneration, less discomfort, a longer, healthier, vital life? Contact purewavenow.com for your consultation. Pure Wave technology strengthens the immune system and metabolism while activating hormone production. purewavenow.com, 561-965-7777.